So coming to the stage, put your hands together, and I really want to hear a 76 house welcome for Mr. George Saltz, everyone. Woo!
You should save some for my funeral. It's so great to be here. 76 House, it's got such history, and everybody's celebrating now. There's such reason to celebrate, and I have an extra reason to celebrate. Today, I made my final payment on my student loan. "65 years goes like that. Maybe I should have gone to a 4-year college. I don't know. Oh well, a GED is nothing to sneeze at, you know. Anyway, this place has got such history to it also. It's the oldest tavern in America. So naturally, they hired the oldest comic. He'll be here next week. He goes way back. He's old. He did stand up at Noah's Ark. Him and his stepsister. This place, as Chip mentioned, it's got such history, and the room here was actually a prison at one time. John Andre, the British spy who was in cahoots with Benedict Arnold, was caught, captured, and this was his prison. And he was a man of means. He had a lot of money. So he was a nobleman. So he bribed the guards to send notes to the ladies at the bar and giving them his cell number and a note inviting him to an afternoon of fun and frolic. And the first lady that accepted was a rabbi's daughter, Cinderella Mendelbaum. And when she accepted and went to his place, the prison history was made that day. It was the first time ever in prison history that they had a conjugal venture. Of course, there's George Washington, but you can make your own jokes about him. You know, George Washington slept here and all that. But let's get on to now and today. And I grew up. I grew up in Williamsburg, but for most of my life, I lived in Westchester up until a couple of years ago. And I had a lovely home high up on a hill overlooking the mortgage. And people in Ardsley are very well-to-do. They drive these fancy cars, and they have these fancy dogs, the crossbreeds, Labradoodle, mini cacas, and all that. And it gave me a great idea that I would start a business, crossbreeding dogs, for Jewish nursing homes, because they have a specific problem. It seems as if every day, little old men, sort of like me, but they got a little more hair, and they go for a little schwarzia, or a walk into the woods, and they get lost, and they got to be rescued. And I'm breeding these dogs scientifically to rescue these little old Jewish men. And they're called Goldman Retrievers. I think it'll be very successful. I don't know. Just don't know. Who knows? I have a pretty terrific memory for considering. I can remember when my first day in high school, and that goes back, and I came to the gym class, and the instructor said, "Boys, remember, when you go up for the basketball, you got to protect the family jewels." So I ran right to the locker room, put away my bar mitzvah ring. And then I said, "No, he doesn't mean that. He's talking about my privates." And he called them jewels, family jewels. My family jewels. I was so happy. I bought these tight-fitting pants. I don't think I took them off in 4 years. And I would walk up and down the halls every day. My family jewels, my family jewels. Hey, girls, my family jewels. What do they call it now? You know what they call it? Junk. What the hell happened? How did it get so devalued? From jewels to junk? It's got to have something to do with supply and demand. At least if they gave it a little value, little value, call it a tchotchke. That's a little plaything. Anyway, it's got to be supply and demand, because I think it's all these young guys that go onto internet and they send dick pics. And the girls get 40, 50 a day. They're bored to shit. Seen that. Seen that. Oh, I've seen that. So where does it go? Junk mail. I woke up one morning and my legs were very swollen. And the doctor said for health reasons I should wear these compression stockings. And it got me thinking, this is another way that I'm different from young men. They think of safe sex. I think of safe socks. They want the swelling to go up. I want it to go down. This July, I will be 87 years old. I'd rather have the time. When you're in your late 80s, it comes with a lot of problems, The biggest one I have is I happen to like older women. And where can I find a 96-year-old cougar? They're so hard to come by. Literally. Another problem, almost as bad at my age, is doing comedy at my age because I don't get the respect and I don't get treated the same way as they treat younger comics. They just don't do this. And I knew this a long time ago. I wanted to start comedy a long, long time ago. But my wife always discouraged me. Every morning in bed, she'd say, "Don't try anything funny." The crazy thing is, when I did, she'd laugh her ass off. So it's just... And, my wife always worried. She... one day she was depressed, and she had been to the doctors, and, the usual. I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "I'm not 5'7" anymore. Now I'm 5'5". And I tried to cheer her up. I said, "How do you think I feel? I lost a couple of inches, and I'm still the same height." Thank you. And my friends and family, they're the same. They make fun of my doing comedy. My friend's son said, "Maybe I'll come see you someday because my new girlfriend likes old Jews." So I told him, "I know an old Jew that likes new girlfriends. So, maybe it could work out." And the female comics, and some of them are real hotties, but they treat me differently. One of them said, would you like to be my sugar daddy? I said, I can't, I'm diabetic. Well, she said, maybe an occasional evening of splendor. I said, now you're talking. That's it. That's okay. And the problem is, I perform with comics that are so much younger than me, 60 years younger than me. And I try to blend. I go out with them for drinks, talk the talk, and all of that. And lately, one of the comics, young comics, has been a bad influence on me. He handed me a joint. And force of habit, I rubbed it with Bengay. I felt better. It really helped. And I'll tell you the truth. The young male comics, I really don't appreciate their material. And I think the ladies probably know what I mean. It's all about their penis. Have you heard that? Every joke. My penis this, my penis that. Ooh, my penis! Do you know what's inscribed on mine? Best if used before 1995. My mother had to think about shelf life of kosher products. And that inscription is only on good days. Most days it just says best it. But I can match stories with these guys. I was told I was a sexual Superman. And I remember the exact words. She looked at me straight in the eyes and said, my God, you're faster than a speeding bullet. I was so pissed, I got up from the bed, threw the money in her face, and I walked out. But I came back to collect my change. As was mentioned, I won the funniest Jewish comic contest. And thank you. But in all sincerity, and it's not as impressive as it sounds because there were only 3 finalists. Myself and 2 Muslims. And one of them, you couldn't hear the punchline behind the burqa, so that didn't matter once. But I did win. I did win. Can you hear me there? I can hear you. Okay, thank you. I also have to tell you about my growing up in Williamsburg. And that was, I lived there when, now the rents are sky high. They were cheap there. And it was exclusively Jewish. Everyone was Jewish. I didn't know anyone that wasn't. So as a result, I knew nothing about other religions. I thought Palm Sunday was what happened when you had no action on Saturday night. Anybody else? And you'll never guess what I thought the resurrection was. So anyway. And we were a bunch of, regular kinds of kids growing up, and we were doo-wop singers on the corner, and we had a name for ourselves. We were the Foreskins. I was the head singer, so whenever we made a mistake, I'd say, come on, take it from the top. And we were taught by Talmudic scholars, both English and Hebrew. And the English courses, they would still teach in the same Talmudic fashion. If a man steals an ox and he sells it to his neighbor for $6, but the ox is worth $12, This man is what we call an oxymoron. They taught us sex the same way. If a snake fights with another snake, they can get along. Soon, we have what we call a reptile dysfunction.